actually been working on for, give or take, what is that now, like 7 years? So a long time in the making. But we just got done playing some shows. We just finished off playing at the Whiskey A Go-Go with the Skylit Drive and a couple other pretty cool bands in the local LA and Southern California scene. And we've just been doing our absolute best to get the word out there for what we're about, what we're trying to do. And we just hit 25K on YouTube and 10K on Spotify. And we can't believe the amount of attention that we've been getting so far. It's very humbling, and we're just really grateful for it.
That's awesome. We have got Jordy from No Kings with us today. Joins us live here on our big broadcast. So you guys have been releasing all sorts of different music. Tell me a little bit about how this has been received by folks.
Sure. I mean, we have been a little bit all over the board, which is very interesting. Everybody has a different favorite song, and they think that we have different influences with every given song. But, yeah, I mean, we kind of span across the board. We have a song called Death Do Us Part, which is about 50% acoustic, and then it goes into like this very big kind of metal feel. We have a song Red that's basically nu metal. We have a song Rusted that is very much like almost radio rock with a breakdown. And we kind of just put everything that we loved into a blender and said, this is how we make it work for us. And the reception has been really interesting because I'd say about maybe 80-90% of people really seem to enjoy it. And they really like the diversity, which is interesting because I always expect people to hate the songs with a bunch of screaming and, love the songs with a bunch of singing. And there's so many different iterations of what people actually think, which is truly fascinating. And then there's the other 10% that are just like, you guys are a ripoff of insert band, which, I always think that if you're getting people that don't necessarily love what you're doing, you're making them think, and I like that.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Jordy with us today from the band No Kings, and he joins us today here on the telephone, talking a little bit about the band.
You're cutting out a little bit.
You're good. You're good. So Jordy, tell me a little bit more about your latest release.
Absolutely, yeah. Our latest release is called The Remedy. It's a 5-song EP. Some of the songs I wrote about roughly 7 years ago. And some of the songs I wrote as of December when we were finishing up the record. With that, we decided to kind of take a lot of influence from bands like Avenged Sevenfold, from bands like Atreyu, bands like In Flames, bands like Gojira, Killswitch Engage, very much that kind of like 2005 to 2010 metalcore, and also combine it with a lot of the influences that I had from like the emo world or the punk world or the hardcore world. So a lot of big guitar solos on it. A lot of cool little breakdowns. Our piano player, or our bass player, Sid, we found out plays piano, so we started to utilize a lot more piano on this record as well. So it's a very diverse sound, but it pulls a lot from, like, again, metalcore, a lot from kind of more accessible things like emo and punk, pop punk and punk rock more than traditional punk. But yeah, a little bit all over the board, but a very focused sound in the sense of mainly clean singing, a little bit of screaming, a lot of heaviness, whether that's emotional or instrumental. We just try to keep pushing the boundaries in the envelope of what we think music needs to be in this age.
Fantastic. We have got a great guest with us today, Jordy from No Kings. Join us here on our big program. So, tell me a little bit about your social media and where we can find you guys online.
Yeah, absolutely. You can find us, it's the No Kings CA on, I believe, every platform. And that's going to be Instagram, that's TikTok, that's Twitter, and that's Facebook. That's what we're on right now. And if you want to reach us directly, you can always send us an email at nokingca@gmail.com. We're always happy to talk to bands. And if you want to see us play somewhere, let us know.
Fantastic. So what has been the reception on social media to your music?
So far, it's been pretty good. We did get a fun little roast from my buddy Trey, who, if you know the YouTube channel Dear Gods, he does a rate and roast of new music, and that was pretty fun. He's a big fan of the vocals and all of that stuff, which I always love. And, of course, he has his little criticisms, which are always too funny because he's got plenty of jokes, that one. But besides that, on social media, we've seen a lot of fans are saying a lot of good things. We've gotten comparison to a lot of the bands that we kind of idolize, which is, very humbling and endearing. We got compared to, I think, Avenged Sevenfold a few times with our most recent our music video called 6 Years of Lifetime, which was fantastic. That is one of my favorite bands of all time. So, I was enthralled by that. It was a big thing for me to see people kind of recognizing that, and it felt really, really good. But yeah, we've been lucky. On YouTube we see a lot of really positive comments. couple of negative here and there, as it goes with anybody. But overall, extremely positive, which is, again, such a nice little mark of approval for us that we do genuinely appreciate. We do this for us, obviously, but the fact that it connects with people and that it seems to be something that they all enjoy is fantastic.
We have got Jordy from No Kings with us today. He joins us live here on our big program. So, what has been some of the different trials and tribulations that you guys have gone through with this recent music that you guys have released?
Sure. I mean, in terms of trials and tribulations, we did lose one member after we recorded about a song and a half worth of The Remedy. Unfortunately, he had a different band that was touring really heavily, and he just unfortunately didn't have the time, which we totally get. We still love the guy. He actually came out to a few of our shows recently, which was fantastic to see him. That was probably the biggest one. Other than that, I mean, it's always hard digging into yourself and making the most honest art that you can. I addressed a lot of issues that I had in the past, whether that be like 6 Years a Lifetime is about a romantic issue, or a romantic situation I had a number of years ago that just kind of left me heartbroken for a long time, and I didn't date for a while. Ghost is kind of me dealing with my grandmother's death, which was rough. Death Do Us Part is a cool song, but it's a heavy one for me personally. Rusted is about a full-on, not a full-on, but an almost full-on mental breakdown that I had, so there was a lot of kind of internal struggles. I mean, I was really lucky that while I'm in the studio, I'm with Art, who I've been in a number of bands with and has been a good friend of mine for a long time, and Joe, who's the same story. So, even when I'm going through all these horrible things, they're able to not only support me musically, but just as friends and people that I really genuinely trust. So we did have a lot of struggles in terms of me trying to be honest with myself, trying to be the best that I could be. And I was really just lucky to have those guys. I mean, besides that, I don't think there were necessarily too many issues that we had internally because, again, we're very lucky to have the people that we do. And that's been fantastic. But, yeah, it's really just been, well, pardon me, the member change that we had more than anything. That was really the only big struggle. And then, again, kind of the internal things that I was dealing with myself.
So who does the primary source of the writing in the group?
It's split a little bit, but it's predominantly me. Because the way that we've written so far, and this is subject to change because we're working on a bunch of new songs right now as we speak, and we're seeing things shift all the time. But it's generally me. I bring in a skeleton of a song to the guys, so I'll have some riff ideas for the guitar. I'm actually primarily a singer and a drummer, so I usually have some drum beats going on as well. I usually have kind of a very simple bass line because our bass player is phenomenal and she'll always make it way cooler than what I can write. And then once I have kind of that skeleton with some lyrical ideas, I shoot it to the guys, see what they think. They add their own little flair to it, and we build it up from there. So it's very much a group effort, but it does start with me generally.
Fantastic. We have got Jordy from No Kings with us today. He joins us live here on the telephone, talking a little bit about their music and some of the latest things that they're doing. So tell me about some of the different shows you guys have lined up.
Sure, we're actually in the middle of booking right now, so I can't say anything officially because we're still signing all the paperwork. But we'll be hitting the West Coast as well as a couple of states surrounding, possibly Arizona, possibly Nevada. Again, I can't officially confirm. You can't see it, but I am winking right now. But with that, we will be doing that, it looks like, between February and April. We'll be doing a couple of different runs throughout the West Coast as well as a little bit of the Western U.S. And then we'll be branching out from there based off of how the reception is. In our last band, we had toured a lot, and we saw some very mixed reception, so we're trying to do our best to make sure that every show that we play, we're getting out to people that really want to see us and that we really have that locked in for the dedicated fan base that we've grown so far.
Fantastic. So how do people buy your music and get involved with what you guys are doing online?
Sure. I mean, we're available in every music retailer that you can think of on the digital space. So, whether you want to be on Amazon Music, if you're in Germany, if you want to be in Deezer, if you want to go over to Spotify, Apple Music, iHeartRadio, any of those guys, we're always going to be listed there and available. If you guys want to connect with us directly, you can always follow me on all social media at GEOR_DONE, or again, follow the band anywhere. It's going to be No King CA. We're always happy to talk to fans. We love hearing what you guys think. If you guys want to play somewhere, play with someone, any of that stuff because, again, when it comes down to it, we're really trying to build a community and make sure that everyone feels welcome and supported in what we're doing.
Fantastic. So we have got a track that we are going to be playing here. You guys have got some incredible music out there. Tell me a little bit about 6 Years, a Lifetime.
Absolutely. So 6 Years is a song that I wrote for, what was that? A romance like 7 years ago, I believe it ended. It started right in my senior year of high school, and it went on and on, just off and on for years. It was a huge struggle for me because it was the first time where I never felt certain. I never had an answer, and it became this really hard, like, wishy-washy thing where I didn't want to give it up, but I knew that I had to. And it felt like there could have been a lifetime built there, like there was so much that was possible. But unfortunately, it takes two to tango, and if somebody's not ready for that, they're not ready for that. And, years later, I don't fault them for that, but it's tough. And so I'd written this song, and I had the idea of having, a higher octave and some kind of cool little harmonies from another singer, just because I thought that would make it kind of cool to sound like it's actually more of a story rather than just one person kind of regaling you with a tale. And I was telling this to our producer, Mike, and Mike was just kind of like, well, does anybody else in the band sing? And our drummer does do guttural vocals, so like a lot of the screaming that we'll hear will actually be our drummer. But I was like, I think Sid, our bass player, does sing a little bit. She's a little shy about it, though. And so with that, we asked Sid, and she absolutely killed it. She does the high octave part and the first part of the song, and a couple other little harmonies here and there. But it was the first song where we all everybody in the band collaborated. Our guitar player, Vince, had just joined the band, so this is the only song that he was featured on in his writing on. Joe was able to take a lot of the riffs and ideas that I had and build off of them. And then our drummer, Art, absolutely just killed it. He and I figured out some really fun grooves to play, and then he added some double kick parts. We just kind of built it into something where it feels like a hybridization of like emo, and then also kind of the metal and metalcore roots that we have, in such a way that it's a very cathartic song for me, because it tells me that I've grown out of having to worry about those kinds of relationships, and I really hope it gives that message to other people that it's okay to leave something that is not working. It's okay to be in pain. It's okay to mourn for what could have been, even if it wasn't.
Fantastic. Well, we are going to go to this track. Thank you for being with us today. I really, really appreciated you taking the time out of your busy schedule to chat with me, and I look forward to talking to you more soon. Thank you, my friend.
James, I'm looking forward to it too, man. Let's listen to that track. It's a fun one. I think you're going to like it.
Yes, indeed. Well, we are going to. Thank you, Jordy. We'll talk to you soon, brother.
Sounds like a plan, my man.
Appreciate it. Here we go. It is 6 years, a lifetime, and it's here. I'll build. And it's yours.
Siren song took me so low.
That is 6 years, a lifetime. That is No Kings. Jordy joining us. Thanks to him for being with us. Next time we see you, it is going to be more